where is Esther during all this?
Esther is in vibrational alignment with us, so much so that we are able to use her apparatus completely. In other words, because of her alignment, she is able to find the translation or the interpretation of these blocks of thought seamlessly, to the point that as we are offering them, she is able to find the words in what you would call even real time. We're able to download a block of thought that might take her several minutes to unravel. We want you to understand that Esther is not doing anything that you cannot do. In other words, everyone on the planet is an extension of source energy. All Esther did was hear about the possibility of connecting with intelligence that had answers, and then meditate for 9 months by quieting her mind. And in her meditation process, she quieted her mind, which means she stopped thought, which means she stopped resistance. And in that time, for 15 or 20 minutes a day, she allowed us to tune her vibration to the frequency that is us. And once she was tuned to the frequency that is us, she hears our thoughts, you see. Now that doesn't mean that Esther can't have a negative thought. It doesn't mean that she can't have a bad day. It means that she has access when she reaches for the vibration of Abraham to the vibration of Abraham, as do you all.
So we can all do this.
You all are doing it to some extent. How often are you driving and you have an impulse to change lanes or to exit? It's an impulse coming from broader perspective. Even when you yawn, that is that impulse coming from broader perspective, an awareness that your physical apparatus would benefit by the influx of oxygen and blood flow. You are all extensions of source energy. You have never been otherwise, you see. What you're witnessing here is just a state. You are witnessing someone in the state of allowing their connection to source. That's all you're witnessing. You see that on the basketball court when the player is believing in his skill and inspired to the movement. You see it in the surgery when the physician's hands are guided. You hear it in music. You see it in literature. It is all around you, see. It has never been different from this. This, some call it channeling. Esther doesn't like the word. This is the epitome of inspiration. It's being in vibrational alignment with the energy of my source. So much so that the intent of source is the dominant calling. And as we said earlier today, and we are really enjoying you bringing this back around to this, that when you realize that law of attraction is responding to these dominant vibrations, and when you realize that the vibration of your source is the dominant vibration in the universe, then you understand why this call of source is so powerful and why it feels so uncomfortable when you don't go with it and so good when you do. That's why it feels so good to appreciate someone and so awful to criticize them, even if they deserve the criticism. It still feels awful. That's why it feels so good to positively anticipate and so bad to negatively anticipate. When your grandmother loves you, the reason it feels so good is because as she holds you as her object of attention in appreciation, she's connected to source and flooding it all over you. And then you say, ooh, that feels good. I think I will demand that from everyone. Problem is, everyone's not tuned in with source. So then when you get the idea that the way people look at you is the feedback about how you're doing, and then there are plenty of people looking at you that aren't tuned in with source when they're looking at you, then you begin to get a different impression of who you are. Where if you're only looking for the opinion of source about you, you will always come out of that sort of a conversation feeling very satisfied with who you are, because source sees you right where you intended to be, pure positive energy, leading edge creator, in an environment of contrast, giving birth to all kinds of new rockets of desires, making the world a better place just by your asking for it to be better for you. And then when you take the time to come into alignment with that, so that you actually allow yourself the benefit right here, right now of that alignment and of that manifestation, it just does not get any better than that. And we are teachers of that. We are teachers of alignment because we said we would. It was our agreement with all of you. We said, you go forth out there on the ragged edge. You mix it up and you see what you don't like. And out of it will be born what you prefer. And we will give our undivided attention to what you have created through the deciphering of life. And we will hold it for you as your vibrational creation. And we will never forget from whence it has come. And we will, from the moment that you give birth to it, eternally call you forward toward it. And you said, okay, I'll listen for the call. And then you came into your physical body and you said, I feel better when I see these things and worse when I see these things. So let's push against these bad things. And as you pushed against those bad things, you felt rotten, which was not the call of Source. But the call of Source never stopped calling. You just sort of got out of earshot for a while. So we would like to say to you or to anyone who is listening for the call of Source, sometimes it sounds like revenge, go with it. Sometimes it sounds like anger, go with it. Sometimes it sounds like frustration, go with it. If you were in frustration, we would never coach you into revenge. That's going upstream. But if you are in revenge, we would coach you toward frustration. Helpful?
Yes, very.